I have a friend who very often when I meet him will pull me aside and say, I have a question for you. And he'll ask me a question about life or a question about Torah or something of the sort. And 9 times out of 10, it's a very basic, simple question that I never thought of. Something maybe that I've been studying or I've been praying or thinking about my whole life or encountering, and I just never thought of such a question. And it led me to think about this person. What a beautiful quality. This man is always examining, always thinking, always prodding and challenging himself to understand better and not to take things at face value. And it's something very admirable. And in fact, this is number 44 of the 48 ways to acquire Torah, is to always be questioning, never to take things at face value, and never to take things for granted. It's true not only about Torah, it's true about life in general. We all know as little kids, our children are always asking, but why? But why does it have to be like this? But why can't I do this? Why is the sun yellow? Why is the sun not blue? And as a kid, it's beautiful and it's cute. And unfortunately, the tragedy of human existence on some level is that we as we grow older, we get immune to this and we stop asking questions and we become less inquisitive and more because that's the way it is. And, we're happy with the status quo. And it's not necessarily a good thing. It's something that we always have to keep in mind, to challenge ourselves and to keep in the forefront of, as Jews especially, we are the people of the book. We are the people that ask questions. It's not for no reason that the joke goes that when you ask a Jew a question, he answers with another one. There's some depth behind that. Because as a Torah Jew, we are always supposed to be questioning and examining and not taking things at face value. In life, and even more so in Torah learning itself. If you learn something when you're a little child, and then you learn it again when you're in your 30s and your 40s, and you learn it the same way, that's unfortunate, because your understanding should be vastly different when you're older, because your power to inquire and to understand, to get to the bottom of the depths of it, is much more powerful when you're older. In fact, the cornerstone of Jewish learning is the study of the Talmud, of the Gemara. And the Gemara is just a book of questions and answers and discrepancies and contradictions and why and more why. And that's exactly what we do when we study Torah the entire time. Because that's who we are as a Jewish people. Never settle for status quo. There was a holy Jew in England, in Manchester, by the name of Rabbi Segel, Rabbi Yehuda Zev Segel. And someone once walked in to his apartment when he was in his 90s. This is a man who had been studying Torah. He was the dean of a very, very prominent Torah institution. He had been studying Torah on a very high level his entire life. And someone once walked in to his apartment when he was a very old man, and he was there in the middle of the day. He wasn't praying, but he was putting on his tallis. And this man observed him. He was putting on his tallis this way, and then taking it off and put on his tallis a different way, and repeatedly doing it different ways. And the man said, "Excuse me, can I ask what you're doing?" He said, "Yeah, I was learning the rules and the laws of the halachot of putting on a tallis, and there's other ways to do it other than what I've been doing my entire life. And I'm trying it out, and I'm trying to see what makes sense for me." This is a man in his 90s, a massive Torah scholar, who learned something new, inquired about it, understood it better, and applied it, even though he's been doing it one way for 90 years. Because as Jews, we constantly strive to get better, deeper, and understand on a more profound level. Shavua Tov.